Hello, hello, hello. Rebecca Moore here with In a Nutshell Consulting, and I am so excited to share Module 4, which is all about mastering your ask with you as part of our Conscious Leadership Cohort. So welcome, welcome, welcome. As you get comfortable in your seat, I'm going to just share my screen and use the advanced features here. There we go. So this is week 7 of our Conscious Leadership Cohort, and this is the last of our modules, and we will integrate a lot of information from our other modules into this. Okay, for those who are just tuning in for the second half of Conscious Leadership Cohort, the objective of this cohort is really to lead yourself and your business more consciously and congruently. And why is this? So that you can prioritize your well-being, get the results you want, and lead yourself and your team more playfully and easily and powerfully. And really, this is all about learning the practice of leading yourself and your business with clarity, consistency, and confidence. So that's what it's all about. We have been through several sessions. We're halfway through here, and next week we will be meeting as a group and on November 5th and talking about some of these exercises here. So I hope you will join us for that. So module 1 was establishing your vision and your baseline KPIs. Module 2 was managing your inner CEO and vanquishing self-sabotage. Module 3 was all about building internal validation and really looking at your self-worth ceiling. And today we'll be looking at mastering your ask or conquering your fear. This is what we'll be going through. I'll let you just read this on your own as you get settled in your seat. I would love for you to make sure that you have no distractions. So get comfortable in your seat. And really the connection to your mind and your body is your breath. So we're going to take a couple minutes to center ourselves. So relax your jaw. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. Put your feet on the ground and take a deep breath in for 5 counts. You can close your eyes here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Hold the breath for 5 counts. 4, 5. And now I'd like you to exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release any worries, doubts, other thoughts. And now we're going to do it again. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale slowly. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now one last time. Take another deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. And one last long clearing exhale to release any worries, thoughts, anxiety, doubts, anything. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Whew, that was good. All right, let's dig in. So, why are we talking about this at all? Well, because the fact is that many leaders find asking for things that they need or selling or pitching difficult. And there's a great quote by Kasia Urbaniak from A Woman's Guide to Power Unbound that describes why this is an issue for many women. It's called the women's bind. And she says this: for those who pride ourselves on independence, it can be really scary or uncomfortable to realize that bringing a dream into the real world may require the assistance, help, support, and collaboration of others. And why is this important? Well, because in a word, we need power and resources to get things accomplished. And the harsh reality is that if you try to do things alone, you risk burnout. I've been talking about this for years because I've lived it. And your success requires the assistance, the support, and collaboration of others. So bottom line is, if you don't ask for what you need, you could be limiting or slowing your growth. You've all heard, ask and you shall receive. Well, the fact of the matter is you will miss 100% of the time if you never ask. But if you ask, you could receive a good portion of the time. So I'd like to invite you to think in your world, which includes, your family, your relationships, your health, your business. Where are you blocking any blessings by not asking? And it's just very curious. Why is it that so many men, and this sounds sexist, but so many people are very comfortable asking for what they need, and some are not? And why is this? Well, I think part of it has to do with worthiness and fear. And I am all about helping you with your wealth, mental health, and well-being. So that's what this is all about. The main distinction I want to make today for you, and if you leave with just this, you've already gained something here in your world. So the key distinction is that you cannot act from love and fear at the same time. And how does this impact your asking and your sales? Well, it gives you a fresh perspective on what might be blocking you. And that's what this is all about, mastering your ask and understanding when you are going into this scarcity mode. So when preparing for sales and asking for what you need, we want to help you learn to shift your perspective from fear to love and from scarcity to abundance. And really to take a look at what maybe your biases might be about asking for and receiving what you need. So this is all about shifting your perspective. So some examples of how to shift include really moving from afraid to aligned, and that's knowing your worth, from pressured to playful, more feminine and fun and flirty, from constricted and shut down to curious or open to possibilities, and from being an imposition by asking to an invitation. So that is the whole lesson right there. So everything from here on is explaining that in giving some examples and exercises to help you integrate this into your work and life. Okay, so here are 5 steps to help you gain this new perspective. All right. Step 1 is, and we will be focusing on this for the next 60 days of this cohort. All right. So step 1 is to gain clarity before you ask. And we've already talked a lot about this in prior sessions, but really having clarity about your vision, like what problem you solve, how, why, your value, what results do you provide, and what do you stand for, and your customers' pain points. So what are they losing sleep over and struggling with that you can support them on? So that's step 1. Step 2 is really, it's all about freeing up your energy. And this sounds easy, but it's not. So how can you free up your energy? It is identifying your priorities, okay, and eliminating distractions, focusing on just one thing at a time, okay? Your top 3 priorities, keep coming back to them. Practice daily action in mastering your ask and sales. Celebrate the small wins and recalibrate when you hit a no. All right. So I'm going to ask you a quick question to ask yourself. Have you ever been so distracted with busy work in your business? I look around my office and I see like all these things that I need to file and technical things that I need to learn, and doing all these busy work, all this busy work, and then you realize that you did not prioritize your sales, okay, your outreach, the 3 things that you need to do every day to move forward. You know, we all fall into this trap. And the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of things that we don't need to do in our daily life that we can release, eliminate, unclutter. And when, as Lynn Twist said in her book, The Soul of Money, when we let go of trying to get more of what we don't really need, we free up enormous amounts of energy that has been tied up in the chase. So, food for thought. More is not always better. Get clear on your priorities and really, most importantly, create a daily practice of sales. And part of this is getting into an abundance, what we call an abundance consciousness. And that is really appreciating at the beginning of the day, appreciating what you already have every single day, full stop. And instead of being in a chase or get mentality, okay, this will make you really relax into your sales and become more magnetic. All right. Step 3, identify internal blocks. All right. So what is stopping you from asking for what you want and desire? And here are 4 biggies. And if you are over 40, I've been studying this a lot since I've just entered my 6th decade. Anyway, I'm 60. So this I see with founders a lot. And that I think it's because that we learn this as little girls. First is fear of rejection, okay? And if you are if you grew up being told that you needed to be a good girl, and you never heard no, or you were afraid to hear no, and you do anything to not get a no or be rejected, then this is an outdated belief and what we call a rule, so bullshit rule, that we get to look at, all right, and observe and see where that is coming up. Shame is the next one. So as independent women, often we don't want to appear desperate, and we shouldn't want anything. We're taught to want not. Pride. Okay, maybe we are highly educated and too proud to ask for things, or we don't want to start at the beginning again or look foolish. And we get to look at that in ourselves and get over it. And then the final common block is worthiness. And so I'll give you a story about that. And I grew up hearing the words that money doesn't grow on trees, that you shouldn't want not, need not, that we were so fortunate. We should always be mindful of the needs of others, always put others first. We should never brag. All of these messages I heard growing up were supposed to make me a good girl. And that really, it was reinforced. I realized much later that ambition was unladylike. And so I want to point out that ambition can be healthy when it's when you have relaxed ambition and you want to make an impact. And there's a difference between confidence and high self-worth and arrogance. All right, so we get to look at that. By contrast, I was also taught to be independent. So the downside of being taught to be independent is that you don't want to ask for help. All right. So take a look at those things and notice them and see how they might be impacting your ability to ask or sell. Okay. Step 4. This is huge. No one talks about this in business school. All right. Asking and receiving requires an attitude of openness. So notice when you want to ask for something and you're actually shut down, you're in contraction. And I'll just give you a quick example. So sometimes when I get in a slump, I get grumpy and contracted, and my energy is low. And so that's really not a good time to go out and sell. But what you can do, and this is what I practice, is marvel at my grumpy slump, unlike my old pattern of getting annoyed at things and irritated and feeling sorry for myself, and then just change it. So once you get that out of your system, you can change your energy. And you can do that by meditating, exercising, eating healthy, moving, playing music. There's so many ways to get out of that. But let that energy go through you, marvel at it, and you can pivot and remember that you get to serve your clients, your investors, your team, and that it is a privilege to be able to be paid to do what you are good at. All right, you get to offer something that they want, and something that they can't do or do by themselves, or they never would have thought of it, whether it's a product, a service. So mastering your ask is all about creating a win-win situation and getting yourself energetically into a state of openness. All right, so all of this sounds easy, but how are you going to do it? Oh, and step 5, which seems obvious, but that's what this cohort is all about, to tweak, rinse, and repeat. Practice, practice, practice. Do the reps. Mistakes can be wins. It's a numbers game. You got to get out there, okay? All right. So quickly, I want to share a surprise, and this is a phrase that came up again and again. This insight that artful asking is not actually a formula. You know, they say there is a science and an art to it, but it's really a way of being. And we tried the "How are you occurring" exercise in the beginning of our cohort, and this applies here. So once you become aware of how you are occurring, how you're vibrating, how you're how you come across, and how you are internally, you can shift your approach and your outlook. And when you focus outward, in other words, on your audience, right, you become more open and curious by definition. So this ensures that your audience feels heard and appreciated. So how to apply this? Okay, so remember the law of vibration. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, and if you're vibrating at a high frequency, you will attract what you want, okay, what you believe in. So the other law is that like attracts like. So you're going to attract things and people into your life that are vibrating at the same frequency. That is what conscious leadership is all about, being aware of this and applying it in daily life. So the way to do that is first to become aware of your thoughts and your emotions. Second is to attract more positive things into your life. Take steps to ensure your thoughts and emotions are positive. And I'm not saying life is rosy. I mean, there are shitty things going on in this world, the election, all these things. However, you're not doing anybody any favors by, you're not helping yourself by worrying about existential threats. You can do what you can do. You can vote and take a stand, and you can manage your internal health. All right. So focus on what you want and what your customer wants when it comes to your ask and sales, and take daily actions towards your goals. This is the visual that I shared in prior modules, and this just kind of shows you this law of vibration in a visual. How can you become aware of your vibration? You will notice when you're contracted, all right, when your breath is short. And that is what we call low vibes. And the way to move from lack to abundance, from contraction to openness, is to move to neutrality. So move to gratitude, willingness, acceptance, forgiveness. Okay. So surprise number 2. I alluded to this a moment ago, but this is in more detail. The direction of your attention attracts or repels your audience. It has the power to attract or repel your audience. And so have you ever been talking to someone and they're like looking around, or they're just, on their phone, or they're just not in sync with you? It really is a turnoff, isn't it? So, and if you've been around someone who is anxious, it is repelling, right? So high vibrations, such as genuine curiosity and openness to possibilities, will focus your attention outward, and that will attract your audience, okay? So when you are presenting your ask, it's really important to focus outward, to have genuine curiosity, openness to any possibility, to be confident and expectant that at some point you will find a win-win situation, and you get to present your offer without apology, without neediness or desperation, and without any expectation of the timing or the outcome. And we'll get to this a little bit more in a moment. So surprise number 2, the direction of your attention has the power to attract or repel your audience. All right. And I referred last time in module 3 about the law of attraction. Like attracts like. So whatever your thoughts and emotions that are occurring in you and you focus on, you will attract the same. So if you're thinking thoughts of anger or negative thoughts, you're going to attract the same. I'll just give a quick example that I've given before, but really here's an example of when I was working at a company called Peach. I was super successful in product sales. I had a high vibration. I was compassionate, earnest, knowledgeable about the product. I enjoyed helping people find products that they liked. And I had a lot of conviction in the product line. However, part of my role was also recruiting new stylists. And I was not good at that because I just really didn't feel like, I didn't like their business model and I couldn't get behind it. And that showed. Even though I couldn't express it, I didn't realize till later why I wasn't successful at that part. And that was it. All right. As opposed to when I had my startup company, I had 100% conviction about our mission. I knew what we needed to do. I was able to sell products, scale the company, hire a team, raise money. And where I fell short was that I didn't manage my own health and I burned out. And I expended a lot of wasted energy being anxious. I didn't have all the tools that I'm sharing with you now to calm my nervous system down. So the good news is you get to make it fun to ask for what you need and desire and share your services and products in a really congruent way. You get to focus on your prospects and not focus on your feelings, or manage your feelings first before focusing on your audience. And the result will be that you're going to attract your ideal audiences much more easily and with a lot more joy. Okay, I'm going to pause for a sec. I'm not going to lie. Some areas in some areas this will come easily, and in others it's going to be hard. It takes practice and persistence and you'll need to put in the reps. And that's what conscious leadership is all about. So this same concept works no matter whether you are pitching your company to investors, selling to either consumers or services, business to business, or what I meant to say is business to business or consumer-based products, or whether you're recruiting new team members. It applies to your family life because we're all asking for things in different realms, right? Okay, now I'm going to move to surprise number 3. And this one is this is a little bit of a mind bender. So, see, surprise number 3 is that resistance is your friend. And you get to reframe welcoming this resistance. So what do I mean by that? Well, objections by your prospective customers, by your spouse, by team members are not a sign of closure. Okay? It's easy to take that as a loss, closure, a negative thing. Well, I invite you to consider resistance as an opening, not a rejection. And this can help you transform your offer and refine your ask. So I'm inviting you to be open to any outcome, all right? Why? Well, because resistance and objections can be a golden opportunity, okay? Although they're uncomfortable and they feel icky, friction is natural, all right? So don't let your inner critic take control when you hear an objection. Instead, view resistance as an opening, not a personal rejection, an opportunity to learn more about your client's needs, to get super curious, and then take action by transforming your offer or refining your ask. And over time, you'll learn how to do this with it feeling very natural and not needy or pushy. So the key is to let yourself be open to the outcome with expectancy, all right? With upbeat, open expectancy, but without expectations as to the timing or the specific outcome. So practice being patient and confident in the timing and your self-worth. All right. So now let's integrate the earlier learnings into mastering your ask. So I talked before about unifying your conscious and unconscious intentions. And so the point here is that before you start asking or selling, it's really important for you to identify and align your unconscious intentions and make sure that you understand and align them. And how do you do that? Well, imagine how you'll feel when you receive what you want. Practice gratitude in advance for this ask, right? This sale to happen. Okay? And be expectant without expectation of the how and when and what. All right? That puts you in a different frame of mind. All right? So I'm going to wrap up here with a few quotes. And I mentioned last time that Jamie Kern-Lima says, "In life, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe you're worthy of. Your self-worth is your ceiling in all areas of your life." So my point in bringing this up again is that you are worthy of what you're asking for, and you need to believe it. And we are here to support you in believing that you are worthy to grow your business, to get the results you want, to have a great life. And your self-worth is the foundation of sales and asking for what you need. So for some of you, this may be the work that you need to do. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying you need to own your inner CEO. Internal validation means trusting yourself and believing in yourself, regardless of the outcome. And if you have a perspective that, wow, I can't lose, but I'm always winning, and this is from one of my mentors who loves to say this, that you can't lose. You're always winning because you're always learning. And you do not need external validation to move forward and take action. All right? So self-worth is foundational for self-confidence, and you get to build on it. The stronger your self-worth, the less complacent you are, because you're not affected by the reasons causing you to stay stuck. And the stronger your self-worth, the more resilient and unstoppable you are becoming. You are in the process of becoming. All right, so moving on. I'm going to ask you a question. What will you ask for, and how will you shift your approach now that you've heard these secrets? All right. I'd love for you to consider that asking is actually an exchange of energy, right? It's not about the money. It's an exchange of energy. When you ask from a place of conscious integrity, your ask will be really powerful and compelling. And when you ask playfully, you're vibrating in joy, not fear. And when you're open and curious, you're focusing outward. So I invite you to try these things over the next few weeks. And it's important to first, as I mentioned before, be clear on what you truly want congruently and why. To deliver with conviction and integrity and gratitude, those are all high vibrations, and to eliminate any resentment, fear, and stress. Those things will really negatively impact your ask. So some of the tools that I have shared with you, still in the past, are the drama triangle. You can go back to this. If you notice when you're about to talk to somebody that you're feeling in victim mode, you have this tool. So you know that you are not a victim and you are a victor for going for it. You can move to more of a creator. What are you creating through this ask? And you're also not a rescuer. All right. For those that are have services, you're not a rescuer. You are a compassionate helper, coach, and you are not on a different level from your prospect. You're all at the same level. Move to the center, all right? And also observe yourself if you are betraying yourself for not going for it. If you're procrastinating, why are you betraying yourself? If you're obsessing over your progress instead of just doing what you need to do. That's my little tweak. So observe that and shift. Okay, I'm going to just do one exercise here and then introduce you to two group exercises, which we'll do together on Tuesday or next time we meet if you're watching the replay. So this exercise is all about building prospect safety. Now I'm using the word prospect as it could be a angel investor, it could be a consumer, it could be a strategic partner or an employee, whoever it is that you're asking, okay? Think of an ask you're planning this week, okay? And the first step, and you could just write this down on a piece of paper, okay? How can I help my prospect feel safe? Write down your responses. Second is, how can I share my conviction about my product, my service, my offer without pressure? And the third is, what can I control right now about this situation? You can pause. Okay, now I'll just go through these quickly, assuming you've answered them and paused. So on number one, You get to focus on the audience, on your audience, whoever it is, with empathy, compassion, curiosity, openness, enthusiasm. And I'll say this again, with expectancy, but without any expectation of the how, when, and outcome. Right? You're clear on your values and you convey them. Second, you can share your conviction by having an outward focus, making sure that whoever you're talking to feels seen and heard. Summarize what you think you heard if they share something, a need, and don't try to fix them or be superior. And always use examples of client wins and a framework. Okay? And the third thing about what you can control right now, you can do energetic pre-work, the how I'm occurring, the SAC, movement, breathing, and know and be confident that your attitude is good, you're aligned, prepared, and relaxed. All right. So the 3 keys on building prospects' safety is to invite them, don't pitch them, to make sure that you're an equal. So we're equals, not superior. Assume that they're smart and brilliant. And the third is evidence. So you have specific evidence of what you have done that's successful, and your marketing, hopefully, has already done a lot of the work for you. But have examples at the ready. Okay, we're almost to time, so I'm going to share quickly some group exercises, which we'll do together on Tuesday. One is called the Rigged No, and this is all about noticing what happens in your body and your nervous system when you hear the word no. So we will do this together. You can take a quick peek at it now. And the second group exercise, third exercise in this module, is called Inoculating Against No. And this is just, again, this is even a deeper exercise on getting used to no's, okay, and overcoming your fear of hearing no. Okay. I'm going to repeat this again. The key distinction here for today is acting from love instead of fear. And Gary Zukav said in his book, The Seed of the Soul, you cannot act in love and fear at the same time. You must choose between them. Okay. So let me just recap what we've talked about today. Consciously acting from love and not fear. That is your conscious leadership rule, motto, challenge. And the 5 steps that we talked about are: 1, gaining clarity before you declare your ask. So identify your values, your mission, your desires, learn how to ask for them powerfully. Step 2, identify your daily, weekly, quarterly priorities. This goes back to our 12-month year. 12-week year, I keep saying that, or 90-day year. We are 60 days in, so we're going to have a good conversation next week about what you will be doing in the next 30 days, right? Let's see. No, you have 60 more days. So we're 30 days in, and we will be talking about what you're going to focus on in the next 2 months. Okay, step 3, observe and address internal sales blocks. We've been talking about that a lot. Step 4, practice openness. And really look at your energetics and your nervous system. When are you shutting down and why? And step 5, tweak, rinse, and repeat. Okay, and so the exercise that we did today was building prospect safety. I encourage you to look at that on your own, and then when we meet as a group, we'll do the 2 inoculating against no exercises to help you overcome your fear of no or your discomfort with no. All right, and I just want to point out from module 3, there were a couple exercises that also reinforce what you learned today. Body over mind, okay, talking about your breath, and finally, the concept of changing your relationship with rejection and failure. All right. So, and there was another exercise of the the 4 R's in inoculating against no. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to really get used to hearing rejection, no, and shifting and pivoting. All right. So I will conclude by saying thank you so much for your attention, for listening to this module, and for being part of the Conscious Leadership Cohort. You guys are awesome. This is such good stuff. It can impact your life, and really it's your choice to live in a state of fear and anxiety and stress, or the opposite. And I invite you to join me in practicing this day in and day out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you at the next group meeting. Bye now.